so much for allowing me to be here, and I like how you said we. Typically me and him present, but he's here today for support. And this is my soon-to-be husband, Terry Josiah, and Jordan, who's going to be filming this presentation today. So my name is Kristen Faith. I'm the founder and CEO of a national nonprofit called Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence. I'm also a longtime KP member. My initials are actually KP, so it fits pretty nicely.
Wow, that's commitment.
It's commitment, it is. I've been a KP member since pretty much a small, tiny child. So I've made my way through pediatrics and every form of Kaiser Permanente along my journey of life. One of the things that brought me here, not only being a KP member and being dedicated to the name, is the fact that while I was going through college, I was a victim of domestic violence. And at the same time, I was also a KP member. And one of the things that I was really passionate about when I started my journey as a survivor was actually creating a connection with KP. Because when I was going through that situation, I was at the hospital a lot. I didn't tell my physicians or my doctors, let alone my family, what was happening to me. And I was just in the hospital a lot. And so many different things that I didn't realize probably attributed to the abuse that I was enduring. I was sick a lot when I was in that situation. And it didn't tie in for me that, the amount of stress that I was going through in that really toxic environment was a cause of all of these sicknesses that were inflicting my body. I remember going to Kaiser one particular time and asking for anxiety medication. I hadn't taken anxiety medication before, but I knew that I had these symptoms in my body. I would get really nervous. My hands would sweat. I would get headaches, and I couldn't focus. But when I went into that appointment with that particular doctor, he wasn't my primary care physician, I had told him, I think I need medication, and it's because I'm in college and I have anxiety when I take tests. And in that moment, I didn't think about telling him the abuse that I was enduring. I didn't tell him all the things that were happening at home. And I know that Kaiser now has a policy that when a patient comes in with different things that may trigger the question, hey, what's going on at home? Now that's a conversation that happens. It wasn't too long ago, though, that this relationship was a part of my life. It was about 7 years ago, so it's still kind of new. But that practitioner didn't ask me any of those questions. He just prescribed me the medication and went on with my day. I ended up taking the medication a few times, but when I did, my body felt like I was completely drugged. I felt like I was tired, and I felt like I couldn't focus. I felt like I was just drugged. And after I got out of that situation, I contacted Kaiser and I asked them, can I help in any way, shape, or form to help clinicians, doctors, anyone in Kaiser to show them how to respond to survivors? Now being on the other side of the fence and now kind of being on your side where we're all in the field of helping and serving and making people feel great and whole and happy. I wanted to give you the answers that I would have wanted when I was in that situation. And being able to be here in front of all of you to share those tips and tricks is something that I have been dreaming about for the last 7 years. I've been invited to several Kaisers across the country to be able to share my story. One of the things that I'm sure you see all over the media is victim blaming. That victims are often said, well, it's your fault, you deserve it, you asked for it. You should leave that situation. Why aren't you leaving? You must like the person enough to stay because you're staying and you know that you're being abused. For survivors, in my particular case, there are so many different situations for different individuals. People stay for 1,000 different reasons, whether it's for children, whether it's for finances, whether they have no family or support, whether they have low self-esteem. There are so many different reasons. Or in my case, I was afraid to leave. The person who abused me stopped me. He threatened to kill me. He threatened to kill the next person that I was with. He told me that he owned me, that he would always be watching me. And I was afraid. And for many of you who are here, if that was said to you, you probably would be afraid as well. And there's so much to share when it comes to domestic violence, and there's so much that we can continue talking about and having a dialogue about, and that's what it's about, is us coming together and figuring out ways that we can serve the people that we care about. You all are in a field that saves lives, and you are in a field that you signed up to pour your heart into the lives of people that aren't your family. And I think that's awesome, because for many of us who have been through abusive relationships, we can't even tell our own family what happened because of judgment. They're gonna blame us, they're gonna say it's your fault, and or they are gonna say that we deserved it. And you all and the work that you do is crucial, and I cannot thank each of you enough for doing the work that you do, because I know that one day, if not already this day has come, there will be survivors that are gonna be knocking at your door saying, well, where do I go from here? And with the work that our organization does, we provide what's after crisis, very much like KP. We help with preventative, and we also help with the recovery and the healing. So if someone is already out of their abusive relationship and they're just looking for support, they just want a friend, they just want someone who understands them, they just want to be heard, that's where we come into the picture. We are not a shelter, we don't offer crisis support, but we do offer things like scholarships, we have survivor retreats, we have financial assistance programs, we have a survivor helpline that operates Monday through Sunday. And you notice I said a survivor helpline. When you call our helpline, you are going to talk to a survivor. When you contact us on social media through our advocacy program, you're going to talk to a survivor. Almost 100% of our team are survivors, because we understand what it feels like to go through crisis. We understand what it feels like to go through trauma and not feel understood. So when I built this organization almost 8 years ago, I wanted to make sure that survivors knew that we were here and we got you, because it's a reassuring feeling when you can say, hey, so this is what happened to me, and the other person that is telling you their story can say, me too. I went through something very similar, and that connection instantly forms. We also created a series of programs for families who their loved ones did not make it out of abusive relationships. And we are one of the only organizations in the country that offer a grief retreat specifically for that demographic of people. So we have a retreat that's actually happening next month here in Colorado. We also created scholarships in memory of their fallen victims, their daughters, their aunts, their mothers. We also sponsor their children during the holidays for our Holidays of Hope program. And we continue to build this camaraderie, this family, this great connection, so people know that they're not alone. But I want to thank you so much for allowing me to share this space with you. My hope is to be able to go to every Kaiser Permanente in the country to share my story in hopes that we can create better solutions for the people that we help, the families that we serve, because that's what it's about, partnership. And I am a firm believer that teamwork makes the dream work. So whatever ideas that you have, let's share ideas and let's create a way to help end domestic violence.
Thank you.
And it's time to break the silence.